And hello, folks. This is what our cameras are for. Nick and I love these kind of views where you can capture the local weather. There it is, a tropical shower at the Rapides Regional Medical Center as you're looking toward the Curtis Coleman Bridge. You can't even see the bridge, the rain is so heavy. You can barely see the Red River and the Pineville side of the river there. So a heavy shower, heavy tropical shower here across the area with tropical moisture in control of things back up toward Natchez. Well, they've had some rain, but it's to the west and north now. And so they're seeing a little sun get through under a mostly a partly cloudy or partly sunny sky, I would say, in that direction. And then 76 degrees, so rain cooled. And by the way, Stellies and LeBeau between Opelousas and Palmetto, we're seeing 78 degrees there, and they've had rain off and on much of the day down in St. Landry Parish. And once again, this is tropical moisture, which is causing the rain. So the overall setup here for tomorrow remains pretty much unchanged. We will see a surface boundary in the mix here across Louisiana, and I'm not sure the position of this front is right. I would say maybe a little bit further to the south, but the idea is that we have a moist flow. We have a little area of depressed surface low pressure across this part of the Gulf of Mexico, kind of straddling inland just a tad, but some of it's offshore as well. You get that counterclockwise flow around that. So on the east side, you get a southeast, easterly wind, and that is moving in really rich Gulf moisture to the area, high octane stuff, as I call it. And once it intersects the surface boundary, it's forced to lift. And so this surface boundary serves as a focus for the rain, and near that boundary is where you can get some of the heavier rainfall totals. So the Gulf system will continue to bring heavy rain now through Friday morning. Common amounts will be somewhere around an inch to 3 inches. I still think 4 to 5 inches is in play in some locations, and other locations, say closer to the coast, maybe more down toward New Orleans or in some other states, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, we'll see more rain certainly than that. All right, so let's move on to the radar. We'll see where the rain is operating right now. We see one of the main areas of rain well to the south of us across our southern parishes of Beauregard. Just about everybody in Beauregard getting rain right now, as well as Allen Parish, although it's a light to occasionally moderate rain, a little bit heavier in West Beauregard there. Then as we move over toward Evangeline and St. Landry, just off and on sprinkles or light rain in that location. Not much going on in Avoyelles right now. We do see some brisk rain there across the northeast part of the parish well east of Marksville. And then coming into Rapides, here's the rain that we were looking at on the tower cam there around Rapides Regional Medical Center. Some heavy rainfall there in that direction, and a little bit more areas from near Colleen extending southward toward LSU, Alexandria, and some of those locations. And then we kind of see a little bit of a band, and there's some lightning mixed in with, oh, by the way, there's a pretty heavy shower. In fact, this is a little thunderstorm there with limited lightning, but it's a thunderstorm as around the DeVille area to the east of there. And I'll put this in motion so you can kind of see how these things are moving. So this is kind of moving toward the west-northwest just a bit. So this band moving on up in through Grant Parish right now, this is some very heavy rainfall. These things are very efficient at putting water on the ground, and that band extends all the way into South Natchez. So that nice view in the Natchez Tower Cam will probably change in the not too distant future as that band comes in. And then across Vernon Parish, especially southwest of Leesville, a very heavy, large area of rainfall there. And so that is a radar summary for what's happening here in central Louisiana right now. No severe weather, as we would term it, with like large hail, tornadoes, or damaging wind or anything like that happening. So the surface features, there's that little area of depressed surface pressure down there in the Gulf of Mexico, in the Corpus and Brownsville area, that part of the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of clouds and convection associated with that, but the main thing that we're looking at here is that it's disorganized, and so it's going to take it a while to organize if it does at all. All right, so futurecast for Thursday morning, I think rain is still with us, maybe hit and miss, maybe nothing heavy. That would be good news if you can get that for your commute. By the evening hours, I think it perks up just a bit, and becomes likely again with some locally heavy cores and pockets of rain across the area. And once again, Friday, back to work and school, as we'll see hit and miss rain. Some of it could be brisk at that particular time. And throughout the day Friday, we see off and on rain throughout the day. So we've got, after Wednesday, we've got 2 more days pretty much of rain, although most of it Friday will be in the morning hours. So going into the Gulf of Mexico, we can see this large area of clouds and convection again. There are some pretty cold cloud tops indicating that some of these convective towers, these thunderstorms, if you will, are building up pretty high, strong activity, in other words. But again, the key factor is it's not organized. And so some of our models say, yeah, it's going to pick up a little bit in organization. Others are pretty muted on that opinion. So we're just going to watch it and see what it does. But regardless of whether there's any tropical development or not down in the Gulf of Mexico from this particular feature and this particular system that we would call a mess, if you will, then it's going to bring locally heavy rainfall across a good part of Texas, portions of Louisiana, all the way into Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. So it's going to be a big rainmaker in places. Let's go down into the tropical Atlantic, where we're seeing disorganized clouds over in that area. We're still watching a couple of tropical waves with low percentages of development. And then coming back into the Caribbean, I think this is probably one of the more interesting systems that we've got going right now. The one in the Gulf, to me, is number 1 so far because it's close to home. And this is the second most important one in the Caribbean, Central Caribbean. You can see that it remains pretty disorganized, but once it moves into the southwestern Gulf, it will pick up a little chance of tropical development in that area. And so that's why on my 7-day forecast, you'll see that we're watching the Gulf for the next 7 days, basically. So in the near term up here for the current system, and then later in the 7-day forecast down here for the tropical wave that's in the Caribbean right now. And there's been a 20% risk of a tropical cyclone off the east coast of the United States put in. This will probably be more of a hybrid or a subtropical type thing rather than maybe a full tropical threat, if anything develops at all over there. So 7-day forecast, heavy rain threat next couple of days, very high rain chances, temperatures under control, but it'll be awfully muggy these days. And finally, the front, I've got it kind of straddling Friday, Saturday, and of course, that will bring in dry air, and it is a real front. It could be cooler than this time of year or whatever, but I think you'll enjoy the mornings there for Sunday and Monday with average low. Now, these are averages of 60 for Sunday morning. That's a mixture of some 50s and 60s. And then I think most people will be in the 50s on Monday, averaging about 58. So knowing the range, we could see maybe readings as cool as 54, 55 Monday morning, maybe all the way up to about 62 in some of the warmest locations. They'll introduce a dry spell there. And then once we move into Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll start to see moisture increase a little bit from the south once again. Whether it's from that system in the southwest Gulf remains to be seen, but reintroduce in the PM Tuesday at 20%, keep 30% going there into next Wednesday as a warming trend comes up. Notice how those minimum temperatures going up 65, 68. So that means the humidity is increasing there. All right, that's my weathercast. So a lot going on. And Nick Mikulas will certainly have the latest in the morning, and I'll see you again about this time for tomorrow. Take care and hope you have a terrific